You're listening to the Snob OS podcast, the podcast for Apple snobs. Yo, this is Terrance Gaines, aka Brother Tech.
And this is Nica Montford, aka Tech Savvy Diva.
And welcome back to the Snob OS cast, the show for Apple snobs, where we talk all things Apple and then some. We would definitely want to welcome you back to another episode. On this week's show, we're going to be discussing Apple's latest OS updates, the Musk versus Apple ChaptGPT lawsuit, Nica's AirPods Pro 3 first impressions. We're going to talk about McDonald's Monopoly game makes a comeback. And we're going to talk about Crissle's bold motherhood take on Cardi B and the surprising reasons why you should not delete spam mail. So that's what we're going to be talking about on this week's show. As per usual, we always want to say thank you to our supporters who listen, who watch, who share. We want to give a special shout out to our Patreons who also donate. So we definitely want to say yes. So we definitely want to say thank you to our regular Patreon subscribers. If you want to become a Patreon subscriber, please go to patreon.com/snoboscast and say thank you. You get some exclusive content that you will not hear on this show. So we want to get right into it. We always start with a lowdown. And earlier this week, there were some last minute OS updates that came through. These updates are for iOS and iPadOS 26.0.1. iOS and iPadOS 18.7.1 if you're not on iOS or OS 26, macOS Tahoe 26.0.1, macOS Sequoia 15.7.1 if you're not on Tahoe, macOS Sonoma 14.8.1 if you're not on Sequoia, and visionOS 26.0.1. So definitely be on the lookout for those updates. I couldn't find a whole lot on this update with the exception of a security front date called Front Font Parser. And basically what this is, it is processing a maliciously crafted font that may lead to an unexpected app termination or corrupt process memory. An out of bounds write issue was addressed with improved bounds checking. Now, I have no idea what that means outside of, from what I read, Apple recognized that this was a issue before it being discovered out in the wild. So they went ahead and sent out these updates in order to address that issue before it is taken advantage of. So just wanted to put that update out there. I would advise if there's any sort of security updates, please update all your devices. So you don't make sure you are behind the eight ball if you are affected by any of these updates or security flaws, rather.
I have to say, when I saw the iOS update come through, I took a look at the release notes. Complete mind blank there. And I saw one of the things that it said it was going to fix was some network and Wi-Fi issues. But the note says specifically for iPhone 17 Pros. And I was hoping that when I did this update, because I noticed when I updated, I have to toggle my Wi-Fi on and off because sometimes it just seems like it's just not picking up. Now, I know with my phone service, I have AT&T. And I used to have great reception in my house. And then one day it just kind of, went down to 1 or 2 bars all the time. And so when I saw this, I was like, oh, maybe this is what my issue is, because I would be on the same Wi-Fi network with my Mac, with my iPad, and I didn't have any sorts of issues being on websites, it taking slow, videos not loading, but it would happen on my iPhone. So I was hoping that when I saw this, I was like, oh, maybe this will fix this issue. And I have to say, unfortunately, no. It does not. I still have to toggle it on and off sometimes just to kind of kick it into gear almost, it feels. So I don't know what's going on. At first I thought maybe it was AT&T in the network, but like I said, my Mac is on the same Wi-Fi and my iPad is too, and I don't have those types of issues. So I don't know. I'm just hoping that maybe soon it will work itself out. I got a little excited, but then it was like, nope, don't be excited.
All right. Well, in the meantime, in between time, there are rumors that iOS 26.1 is right around the corner. So maybe there's a fix there. In the
Could be.
meantime, though, what you can do is what I always do whenever I'm experiencing network issues, whether it be Wi
Hmm.
Fi, whether it be Bluetooth, whatever the case may be, is go in and reset
The
network
network
settings.
settings.
Maybe
I haven't
that'll
tried that.
yeah, maybe that'll jostle some things around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't see anything anywhere about this particular 26.0.1 fixing any sort of networking issues. The story that I read just patched that security flaw that Apple found on their own. So,
It was just in the release notes when you went to install, and I kinda just scrolled
oh,
through to kinda see what they were saying was gonna be fixed, and that was one of the things that it listed in the update notes when you went to install the update, so that's where
got
I
it, got
saw
it,
it. Yeah.
got it. All right. Well, that's it for that one. We're going to move on to our next story. Apple requests a dismissal of Elon Musk's iPhone ChatGPT lawsuit. For those who are not in the know, Elon Musk filed a lawsuit accusing Apple of rigging App Store rankings against chatbots and apps competing with OpenAI. So basically, when Apple announced this whole Apple intelligence move,
Mhm.
Apple partnered with ChatGPT as the quote unquote, not default, but the first runner up as far as the AI chatbots that Apple would partner with.
Mhm.
Apple, as always, from the beginning, has always said that ChatGPT is the first of many. As we go on, we will consider adding more like Copilot or Gemini.
Mhm.
If you go back a little bit, not a little bit further, but if you fast forward to earlier this year, Apple displayed some issues with Gronk AI as it relates to the type of information that Gronk AI was spitting out, as far as Nazis, as far as all of
Hate
racial
speech,
thing, hate speech,
inaccuracies,
yeah,
yeah, all that
all kind of
stuff.
things. So Apple was kind of like, yeah, I mean, we ain't gonna say we ain't gonna rock with y'all, but we are gonna put a caution
Yeah,
over downloading Gronk AI. So maybe
yeah.
that is what Elon Musk is all upset about and now suing. But nevertheless, Apple's lawyer said Musk's AI and social media companies have done nothing to plausibly
Plausibly.
plausibly stand up their allegations, explaining that the agreement with OpenAI is, quote, expressively not exclusive. And what they mean by expressively not exclusive, because Apple said there will be more AIs that they may partner with in
Yeah.
the coming future. It just so happened OpenAI was the first. So
First,
I'm not
right,
sure. Well, I mean, I know why, but
yeah.
logically speaking, I don't understand why Elon Musk can't grasp that.
This is just a billionaire temper tantrum. I mean,
Mhm,
if you're the richest man in the world, what do you do when, someone doesn't invite you to sit at the cool kids table? What do? You
mhm.
throw millions of dollars into a lawsuit that you know is basically BS, but to soothe your billionaire heart, you go and try and sue one of the biggest country companies in the world. So I saw it for what it was, which was basically just a temper tantrum. And I guess when you have that amount of money, that's that's what you do. If I had that kind of money, I think I'd do something else. But hey, that's me.
But it's so one of my red flags is hypocrisy.
Mm,
I can't stand somebody who thinks a certain way, treats people certain ways, acts a
mhm,
certain way, but then when that same attitude, styles, ideas are projected onto them, they
mhm.
get all upset and in a tizzy,
Yeah.
And Elon Musk has a history of doing whatever he wanted to do with other companies, with competitors, with people he has partnered with, people who he is competing against, and it's all fair is all's fair in love and war, right?
Mhm.
The way when he does it, right?
Right.
But when somebody does it to him, now he's all upset and can't understand why Apple would be so selective and why they are rigging the App Store to not list Gronk as far as the list of this and that and this and that and the other. And it's just like, come on, bro. You are the main one that plays this game. And then when the game is played against you, now you all upset, man. Get out of here.
But isn't this exactly what a narcissist does?
Mhm,
He is the textbook version of a narcissist and a bully
mhm.
because of the mere fact he's used to people acquiescing to him and, just really, kissing his butt. And he's so used to everybody say, oh, he's such a genius. He's such an innovator. He's so smart. He's so this. He's so that. He's so great. And then he could have 1,000 people saying that. But if one person does it, you know, uh, you know, put him on high or say he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, then he just completely, again, throws a temper tantrum. And this is, like I said, is textbook, um, someone who's always been catered to, always been told they've been the greatest and the best at everything, usually when they're not. But, unfortunately, that's what
It's
it is
people
it's come
respond to.
to, right,
Right. Yeah.
especially people in power, and he's just been emboldened even more, with what's going on in the world. And it just he just can't fathom that somebody wouldn't think that his product should be listed as number one,
Yeah.
even with all of its issues that he himself has acknowledged are
Right.
issues. So
Yeah.
textbook.
Yep. Well, we'll see how that goes for
Yep.
Musk. My guess is going to get thrown out, but
Yep.
I mean, why, why not try? The worst they can say is no.
Is no.
All right.
Exactly.
Yeah, all right, enough of that. Moving on to the next story. So we talked the last week. I don't remember if it was on the main or in the Patreon, but
I
we
don't
were
remember.
talking about how you, your words, kind of him hauled around
Flew too close to
and
the sun.
yeah, and was not able to get the AirPods 3 as soon as you wanted to.
Right.
Fast forward to today, and I
Uh-huh.
saw some Facebook and social media posts that you
Uh-huh.
finally got a hold of some. So tell
Uh,
us about your story at what you had to do to get them, and then tell us what are your first impressions on now that you have them.
right. So basically, what happened was when we talked about Apple Deliver Day, um, and I think I said it on the show. I was like, "Oh, I'll just go out and pick up some this weekend. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal
Mhm,
because I wasn't super excited or invested in the products from the All Dropping event." Well, fast forward to the 19th, which happened to be my mom's birthday at the same time. Uh, I didn't find no AirPods.
mhm,
And then when I could find some, by the time I tried to go and get them, they were gone. And I'm the kind of person is I want it and I want it now. I don't want to have to wait.
mhm,
And I couldn't find them anywhere. And it was like a really long delay to get them from the Apple store. And then I had like a credit from Best Buy. I'm like, I might as well use my credit before it runs out at the end of the month. And so I had been checking Best Buy to see what updated because every, you know, day or, few hours or whatever, the store that had them in stock changed.
mhm,
And I was like, man, I'm never gonna get these things. So after we got off of the show last week, I was like, because it was maybe around, 9:30 or so. I was like, let me see what Best Buy got going on. And so I happened to go to Best Buy because it's a Best Buy not far from my house. And I
mhm.
saw them and I was like, click. I was like, I never pressed purchase
Fast
so
enough.
fast
Mhm,
on a product because I was like, one, this is close to my house and I won't have to drive 1,000 years and I'll be able to pick them up. And so I ordered them that night. I got the email. I think Best Buy opens at 10. I got an email about 10:15 saying that they were ready. And I was like, yep, let me get. And I did the curbside so I didn't have to go in. And
mhm,
I just pulled up and I got a new Apple Pencil Pro too as well
mhm,
because my other Apple Pencil, because I got a M4 iPad Pro, I don't know, not too long ago.
mhm,
And I noticed my Apple Pencil didn't work. And I was like, I'll get one. I'll get one. I kept putting it off because I was like, I don't really use it that much, but I just wanted to
mhm,
have it just to have it. And so I got those two things. And I have to say, what I noticed initially, probably one of the first things, because I've talked about it before, is you'll see me if you watch the show, I'm always kind of pushing kind of
Mhm.
like my ear in like this or pushing it
Mhm.
in because the tips were never small enough. So I got the extra, extra small tips. I popped the ones that were difficult. I was like, I know these aren't gonna work. And I went to the smallest size. I popped those
Mhm.
in and they're just as snug as a bug in a rug.
Alright. Alright.
And they fit really great. I don't have to do a lot of pushing in and adjusting, like, when I'm using them to talk or move around. They just fit. And I'm like, yay, super glad that worked
Mhm.
out. I have to say the sound quality is, even though sound quality before was great, it's even better.
Mhm.
And the seal for the noise canceling,
Mhm.
even though they were good on the AirPod Pro 2, they've gotten even better on the AirPod Pros 3. So I'm super excited, and impressed with them. And outside of my iPhone, my AirPods are what I have to have on
Mhm.
my person
Mhm.
when I'm leaving the house or doing something. And so far, I've been super impressed with the latest versions. I will have to say, I was a little bit disappointed with the language translations, even though, from what I'm understanding, in 26.1, it'll be fully adopted. But right now, the live translations is still in beta. So when you go to try and use it, it still says it's in beta. And it only gives you the options of about 4 or 5 languages. I think it's Spanish, French, Italian, and I want to say there's another one. And I was
Mhm.
surprised that it wasn't all the languages because the way they were talking about it, I thought, once it was released, we'd have access to that. So I'm looking forward to getting all of the languages because I really want to try it when I go to the nail salon to see if I can hear what the nail techs are saying
Mhm.
while they're doing my nails.
Mhm.
So that's what I'm really kind of looking forward to because I don't have any travel booked within the next month. So I was like, I kind of really want to try it like right now because it seems really cool. So I'm looking forward to getting the other languages where I can kind of try it out. And the best way for me, still being stateside, is to do that at the nail salon where they talk Vietnamese a lot. So yeah.
Okay. So I've had mine a little bit longer.
Hmm.
And one of the things I will co-sign is they fit a little bit better in your ears. I don't have as much of a problem with them kind of coming loose,
Hmm.
but eggtail the fit is much more snug.
Yeah.
Another thing that I can um, feel it doing is monitoring my heart rate when I'm exercising.
Oh.
I worked out this morning and did like a little indoor walk. Um, and I couldn't hear it, but I could almost kind of feel it matching my heartbeat. And I could also tell because I've done this workout before with my regular, not regular, my AirPods Pro 2.
Hmm.
And the readings on the AirPods Pro 3 are much more succinct. Meaning,
Mm.
for instance, I'll give you a perfect example. I am old, so I can't
Seasoned.
yeah, I can't do all of the heavy lifting, calisthenic,
Hmm.
hit stuff off the jump, right? I gotta
Hmm.
warm my body up
Right.
to that point to where I can
Ease
start doing
into
this. Yeah, yeah. So, what I'm doing is walking, right? I'm just gonna
it.
start just kind of almost like a start over, right? Instead of just trying to do a bunch of push-ups and a bunch of
Mhm,
curls and all this stuff, I'm just gonna walk, right? Keep it
mhm,
simple. Um, what people have said is the not the older you are, but if you are walking to burn fat,
mhm.
all of the high end, high intensity stuff is good for muscles and getting stronger muscles and endurance,
But not
but
burning fat.
not as much. Now
Mm-mm.
you're gonna burn fat if you're
Right.
burning calories, period, right? But what they say is you wanna be in, like there's different zones
Mhm.
of cardio, I guess your heart rate
Yeah.
or cardiovascular fit, whatever it is,
Yeah.
and they say you're supposed to be in zone 2, right?
Mhm.
Which before out working out hard, it was damn near impossible to feel like I was getting a good workout
Mhm.
anything below like zone 3 or 4,
Mm.
right? So
Yeah.
trying to last week, well, before the AirPods Pro 3, I would find a hard time trying to stay in zone 2.
Mhm.
I tried the AirPods Pro 3 that monitor my heart rate in the ears,
Mhm.
and I found that getting in the zone is easier because it feels like the AirPods Pro 3 heart rate is more accurate.
Mm.
So before I would work, and be like, "Well, when am I gonna get to zone 2?" And then
Mhm.
my watch will finally say, "Oh, you're in zone 2 now."
Mhm.
Then I work, and it'd be like, "You're above the zone or above or below the zone."
Mm.
I had to work just to get down. I found in the AirPods Pro 3, and again, this is just my personal experience, that I found myself not having to work as hard to get to the different to stay in the zone
Mm.
because I'm assuming, speculating that the heart rate monitoring
It's more
is
accurate.
is more accurate, right? So anybody that's a fitness person, work out a lot, and you've got the AirPods Pro 3 or considering it, that may be a benefit to where it, from what I can observe,
Mhm.
a couple times that I exercised, that the heart rate monitoring seems a little bit better.
So, is there I haven't tried it yet. I just um me and Alondra had talked about this a few months ago because we were talking about burning fat, and as we are of a certain age, that's walking is what my doctor has told me is going to burn the most fat, and not getting above, because like you said, when you're doing like cardio, you're doing hit, we've always said you have to be above your target heart zone to burn fat. Now, doc says you need to stay within your range. Once you exceed it, because something with the cortisol and the way the body works, some weird science stuff about how your body processes it
Mhm.
and does it, is it's lower impact at this age is better to burn fat. So I bought a walking pad to like keep in my bedroom, like a really thin, small one that you don't even, you can power it on if you want, or you can power it off just to kind of walk and get those 10,000 steps in or whatever. But when you're doing it, is there sort of like I said, I haven't tried it. Is there like a distinction on your Apple Watch, or when you're using like Apple Fitness when it's doing the heart rate? I guess, is there a difference between it taking it? Is there any kind of indication that there's where they're taking the heart rate from, whether it's on your watch or your ears, or is it just displaying it?
It's you can't tell.
Okay.
Uh, there's no indication on your phone or your watch that the heart rate is coming from the AirPods versus your watch.
Okay.
I don't know which one it picks. Maybe my guess is it takes
Maybe it's
the
the aggregate
accurate
of
of
both.
the 2. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the science behind it, but
Yeah.
like I said, I definitely can tell, moving through those zones seem to be, I guess, matched what my energy output was,
Mhm.
when before it felt like my energy output was working, but
But it wasn't showing.
it wasn't moving through the zones like
Yeah.
this week, or like when I
Yeah.
had the AirPods Pro 3. So
Gotcha.
yeah. All right, right.
I'm enjoying them so far. Looking forward to continuing to use them, and yeah,
All right. All
yay
right.
AirPods.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for the lowdown. We're going to move into second string. And if you are our age, you can remember those times when going to McDonald's and I don't know if it was every quarter, twice a year, once a year, uh, McDonald's would roll out their Monopoly game, and
Mhm.
you would go and buy, Big Mac or a value meal or a large Coke or whatever the case may be, and you would peel off the Monopoly
Mhm.
pieces. And similar to a Monopoly board, you would have to match
Mhm.
all the different colors, all the different streets on the Monopoly game. And then I get, similar to Monopoly, if you had all the three, I think it was three, Park Place. What was the big money ones? It was Park Place. Um,
I just remember Park Place because that's like the most well-known one.
Yeah, because if you were able to buy a house or put a hotel on those and somebody landed on them, they owed you big money, but
They
I can't
owed you
remember
money. Yeah.
big money, right? I can't remember
Yeah.
what those are. Anyway, all the way around the world to say we haven't seen it in a long time,
Mhm.
the Monopoly game. But after about 10 years of not seeing it, now it's back. And basically, like I mentioned, the basic mechanics haven't changed. You order menu items, you get Monopoly stickers, and
Mhm.
you can win prizes either instantly or by collecting all the sets. So if you get Baltic Avenue, I can't remember none of the places, but a couple
Me
of
either.
them. Yeah, but
Yeah.
anyway,
You
but
know
the
it with me.
difference I yeah, but the difference is now that they're rolling it out now, McDonald's is now funneling everything through the mobile app. So even if you peel a physical sticker off the Big Mac if off a Big Mac box, for example, you'll have to scan the piece with the McDonald's app. And then that's how you quote unquote collect or store
Mhm.
all of the different pieces. And then if you get a certain piece, they may give you $1 off your meal, or
Mhm.
if you get a piece, you free extra value meal on us. But if you hit
Mhm.
the big one, then you could probably win cash or prizes. So I just wanted to talk about this, one, for nostalgia, and two, since I have kids, since I have a son, since I have an 8-year-old son, his meal, his eat out, treat yourself meal is McDonald's. So we spend a lot of time in McDonald's. So now it feels like, and I use the McDonald's app because we go so much
Uh,
to rack up the points. So
uh-huh.
then I can use those for, subsequent meals. So
Right.
I'm definitely going to be by proxy
Mhm.
playing this McDonald's app, McDonald's Monopoly game on the McDonald's app so I can get that little extra special
Yeah.
uh those discounts and those different gifts and things.
Yeah. I just maybe it's a bit selfish of me, but I some things can still be digital. Some I mean can be analog. Some stuff can
Mhm.
still be offline. And I guess because I remember it from being a kid, being so excited to go in and pull the sticker off and put it on stick it on the thing. Um it just to me it feels like it takes a little bit away from it being in an app, but I understand that everything we do now is an app, has an app. I get it. I just, sometimes I just wish some things we could, keep in a bit of a nostalgic way, but I get it. But at the same time, hmm, it'll be fun to have it the way it used to be, but
Only if you can keep up with the pieces. I couldn't keep up with the pieces. So, unlike you, I would be looking forward to scanning these things in and I can toss them in the trash, right? Just want to give a little bit more information. To incentivize you to play, McDonald's has made a prize pool impressive of over 471 million worth of rewards. Some are
Wow.
small, like I mentioned, like free fries or drinks. Some are much bigger. For example, you could win a $1 million cash prize
Hello.
or a 2026 Jeep Grand Cherokee. There's also 1 million American Airlines miles up for grabs, along with dozens of other prizes. So if you are listening to my voice and regular, you are a regular at your local McDonald's, make sure you got the McDonald's app. In addition to getting rewards for money you're gonna spend anyway,
Right.
now there's a chance for you to win some big bucks through the Monopoly app, or
Yeah.
Monopoly game rather.
Nice.
All right, all right. So that is going to do it for second string. We're going to move into for the culture. And I remember you saying you are a listener of the read
Hmm.
with Kid Fury and Crystals,
Hmm.
right? So have you heard about the comments that Crystal made towards Cardi B and her
Yes.
response? So
Yes.
I put it all down in here because I don't listen to the read, and I'm not into it like that, so I went to ChaptGPT
And say,
and
"Give
had
me a rundown."
give me a rundown, so I can put it in here for my reading. But since you are a listener and you are familiar, why don't you give us the breakdown of what happened?
So, 2 weeks ago, um, on the read, like, uh, Terrance said, really, really popular, podcast. I remember listening from the very beginning. I used to follow Kid Fury, who was the main host, well, not the main host, but kind of like the creator of this,
Mhm.
back when he was on YouTube.
Mhm.
And I've always, listened to the show. Very entertaining. They get serious sometimes. They cover some really deep issues. And so this coincided, they do this segment called Hot Topics,
Mhm.
Hot Tops, where they
Mhm.
talk about what's going on in culture, social media, kind of the messy stuff that we're used to seeing on Twitter. And Cardi B dropped her second album after 7 years, I think, after her first. And during this whole process of doing a rollout, she did like the OG traditional album rollout, which I was happy to see because we don't really see that anymore with artists. They just kind of say, here is our music, go listen to it on social media. But she kind of did the full rollout. She went to like places in New York. You know how old back in the day people used to sell CDs out of their trunk. She kind of did
Mhm.
some of that around New York in the subway. Had like the album. I mean, the full rollout. If you're of our age, or if you're a millennial or exennial, any anybody in that range, you remember what rollouts used to look like back in the day. And so, as a part of her rollout for, I think it's called Am I the Drama, she went on Gail King. Up until this point, people have been speculating that she was pregnant, she looked like it, but then she was kind
Mhm.
of like feeding into it. But she was also kind of like making fun of it or light of it, trying to like trick people, and people really couldn't tell, is
Mhm.
she or is she not, because she's in the middle of divorce from her husband, Migos rapper Offset.
So it's still in the middle of that, or is that done with?
No, so it's technically done, but he won't sign the papers unless
Um,
she pays off all his tax debt, gives him one of her houses, and I think she recently said he wants half of her net worth or something crazy like that, even though he's the one who basically cheated on her from when they were dating up through when they split. So that's a whole other thing. So
mhm.
she is dating New York Giants football player Stephon Diggs. He's what I assumed he was kind of like her, I'm free from this dude who was like doing me dirty.
Rebound.
Rebound out, just kind of like having some fun because they've
Mhm.
been kind of all over the place, pictures. She's attractive, he's attractive, both of them are rich, doing all this rich people stuff. Well, on Gail King's show, she announced that she is indeed pregnant with her
Mhm.
fourth child.
Mhm.
And it's shocking to some people because when Cardi B first came out, her first album, she was pregnant with her first child, Culture.
Mhm.
And people are like, oh, it's going to ruin your career, all these things. It didn't. It made her
Mhm.
even more famous. She went on to have two more children. And
Mhm.
that's where in lies some of the criticism is her third child just turned 1 years old.
Mhm.
And now she's pregnant again.
Mhm.
She didn't say how far along she is. Some people are guessing she's maybe around 6 or 7 months.
Mhm.
She being Cardi B said herself that the baby will be born before the end of this year,
Mhm.
because in addition to announcing her album, she
Mhm.
announced that she starts touring in February.
Mhm.
So she has a barely 1 year old,
Mhm.
and she is pregnant with another child,
Mhm.
all the midst of releasing an album, announcing a tour that
Mhm.
starts in about 5 months.
Mhm.
So, fast forward all this to say this topic came up on the read when they talked about this.
Mhm.
Now, I'll have to say, Crissle did have some valid points in her argument. What caught me off guard
Mhm.
is the visceral reaction to it.
Mhm.
You would think that it was her going through it, or if it was her best friend going through it. I mean, some of the stuff she said about Cardi B, I was like, geez, what did
Mhm.
Cardi B do to you? Because we get it. This baby is unexpected. Um, if she is touring, if she does plan to tour, she's super busy because she's doing all these other things outside of her music.
Mhm.
Again, she does have these three, almost four children.
Mhm.
And so one of the comments that Crystal talked about was basically, saying, she has nannies raising her kids. she's
Mhm.
not spending enough time with her kids.
Mhm.
She even compared her to Nick Cannon, and I thought both of those things were like, that's really visceral. That's really a lot. You comparing a lady who currently has 3 children with her ex-husband
Mhm.
and has another child on the way with her current boyfriend, but
Mhm.
she has all of her children under her roof. She's taking care of them.
Mhm.
So to say that nannies are raising them and she's not involved, I thought that
Mhm.
was a bit much.
Mhm.
To also say that, you know, uh, she's doing too much. Why is she doing this? She was like, you had all these years in between your albums to have a kid. Why would you have one, right as your album was releasing? And I got personally, I was like, this sounds like an unplanned pregnancy. I don't think she planned to get pregnant. I think she was outside having a good time, and
Mhm.
oops, pops up a baby. I
Mhm.
think the biggest thing that gave me concern with Crissle's comments were when she talked about um, Cardi getting a mommy makeover. So
Mhm.
Cardi has been very honest about all the plastic surgery she has. She's like, I don't
Mhm.
regret it. It's what I've done. It's my body. I do what I want. So, okay, fine. People can get plastic surgery. But the comments that she made alluded to the fact that Cardi wasn't she didn't care. She wasn't going to care about her children. All she cared about was getting her body back after she had this baby. I think she said something along the lines of, after you pop this baby out, they're going to go in and do all the stuff. And then they're going to they have these, what they call, I think, a faja, which is after you have um, these
Vaginal
BBL,
rejuvenation.
the BBLs, when you get like the tummy tucks and all that kind of stuff, this called a faja, and basically it's like a corset to kind of like suck everything in and
Mhm.
hold it together while it
Mhm.
heals. And
Mhm.
so she was basically saying that she only cared about getting her body back, and she wasn't caring enough about if she was going to die, that she could die from the surgery. And I'm
Mhm.
just like, whoa,
Where
that
does
took a huge turn.
where do you think um all these criticisms from Crystals is coming from?
Honestly, I don't know. Like I said, I've listened to the show from the very beginning. And to be fair, Crissle has made comments like this, they're known for making inflammatory comments. The whole show is
Mhm.
called The Read. And
Mhm.
if you know, in the gay community, the vernacular is you want to read somebody to fifth. So it's basically, telling people off or
It
whatever the case
just
may be, right?
short of talking about them, pretty much.
Right, right. And so she's criticized Cardi B before. She's criticized. If there's a celebrity out
Mhm.
there,
Mhm.
they've criticized them, except for
Mhm.
Beyonce because they're Beyonce super stans. So Beyonce never does anything wrong. But everybody
Again,
else,
what I say before, I cannot stand hypocrisy. I cannot stand it, but continue.
yeah. So Beyonce is the only person that's off limits for them to say anything negative about.
Mhm.
Beyonce and people Beyonce adjacent, like her mom, but
Sure.
they've talked trash about Jay-Z. So it really just goes to Beyonce and basically Beyonce's kids. Everybody
Mhm.
else, they can get that work. And they
Okay.
have.
Mhm.
And like I said, I've heard her talk about people before, um, you know, like, deep down, but
Sure.
I don't know, but something with this Cardi B
Mhm.
situation, it felt different to me when me and my brother were going to dinner with my mom and my dad and my grandma, and we were listening to it on the drive down because they want to go somewhere all the way, in East Bumblefudge. And, because I had already listened to it. My brother was listening to it for the first time because he said that he'd stopped listening to the read for a bit because it had gotten to be too much for him or whatever.
Mhm.
And he was just like, oh my God. I mean, it was
Alarming or
it
shocking.
was it was very alarming. And
Mhm.
the way that they've talked about people before,
Mhm.
it has never been this alarming about something like this. Now,
Mhm.
they've definitely gone
About
in
motherhood.
about motherhood. They've definitely gone in on some of these artists and their the things that the misogynistic things they've said.
Mhm.
They've talked about Nicki Minaj, and they've talked about Donald Trump, and they've talked about all these things, and they've kind of really literally read them to filth. But this
Mhm.
is the first time that I think Kid Fury said some things, but it wasn't as like
Pointed.
pointed is not even the word. It's
Mhm.
it's one thing to kind of read about it and see it kind of laid out, but you
To
had
hear the tone.
to hear the tone in her
Mhm.
voice. I was like, "Oh my god, Crystal." I
So
was
you
like,
think
"What's
maybe
going
she's
on?"
never been a fan of Cardi B and her,
I don't
because
think
Cardi B is a character. She does have some, what's the word? She has some interactions that
I don't think
rub
that's
people. Go ahead.
no, I was just say I don't think just quickly, I was like, I don't think that's the case because she said positive things about Cardi in the past. Even with this upcoming album, she was like,
Mhm.
I don't know what it's gonna sound like, but I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm gonna listen to it. And she said positive things about Cardi, her music, and has been a fan for the most part. She called out like her bird behavior sometimes, but it's plenty of artists that have bird behavior. But yeah, okay. So I just want to kind of trick there.
Um, from what you know,
Hmm.
is, since we're talking about Crystal specifically, is she married?
No.
I'm assuming, well, I'll just ask the question. Is she in a relationship?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not sure.
Does she have kids?
She has a dog that she calls her baby. It's a cute
Okay,
dog, Lainey. She doesn't have a human child that she birthed herself. She
okay.
has a pet.
She has a pet. She's a
Yes.
okay. Is it well, so let me ask in the frame of this. You mentioned they don't say anything bad about Beyonce.
Hmm.
People have made the statement or the argument that Beyonce also works very hard, so much so that you could make a similar claim that, the whole nannies raising your kids.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, obviously I know why because they're biased,
Right.
but I wonder why. Well, we will never know why, but I
No.
wonder why it was so pointed at Cardi B. Is it because she is the lady, not necessarily talk of the town, but she is the one who is engulfed in a lot of media as of late, and
I
maybe they go ahead.
no. I was just kind of thinking out loud while you were talking, and honestly, I can say I don't know why because Cardi has posted her kids online. Their and not just like their birthday parties, them going out, but just like them in their house,
Mhm,
with her bonnet on, kids in a t-shirt and a diaper
mhm,
running around. She
mhm.
seems to be
A
from what
regular
she showed
person.
a person who has kids but also has a super busy schedule, like
Right,
honestly like many other parents who
right.
aren't celebrities. They have nannies because they have things to do. And I think one of the things that Cardi said in her response was, "Yes, I have nannies because I am the only one working in this family." I just
But
heard
still
it.
though, even that though, she's rich. That's what rich people do. Rich
They can
people get
afford those
nannies,
things.
they get
Convenience,
maids, they get butlers, they get
chefs,
chefs, they
personal
get
assistants.
drivers, they get personal
Yeah.
assistants, they get personal
All of
trainers.
them have this.
So I don't understand. I'm still trying to wrap my head around what's the difference
Yeah.
between what other artists, what other celebrities have done, and what Cardi B is doing according to, the
Honest,
read.
honestly, I don't know. Like I said, when I heard her comments, I was just really shocked with the only thing I can say is like a visceral tone. I mean,
Mhm.
you would think that it was a lot. And as I was listening, my face was just like crunched the whole time this is
Hmm.
going on because I'm like, this I was kind of
Did it,
looking around
it
to myself.
seems
I was
like it's
like, is
coming
this a
from
lot?
somewhere. Yeah.
It seems like it's coming from somewhere, but Crissle and Kid Fury both. Kid Fury is a gay man.
Mhm.
Crissle is a queer person.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's a queer person. Um, and I think the way she explained it is in the past she's dated men, but she
Mhm.
usually doesn't date men. She's or cis men. let me put it that way, because she says she's a lesbian, but she's also dated trans men
Oh,
before. So
okay.
she's talked about all this on the show. So this isn't
Mhm,
anything outside the norm. So, and she hasn't, I don't think, I'm trying to remember back. I don't think there was any explicit time that she said that she really wanted to have children of her own.
mhm,
I'm
mhm,
like, her best friend has a daughter, and that's, she loves that little girl, like she's her own. They go and do, auntie things and that kind of stuff. So she isn't opposed to children. I don't think I've heard her mention that she wants some of her own, or that she wants to be in like a traditional type marriage. I don't think I've heard her say that. I could be wrong, but I'm just kind of like going through the catalog. But I don't even I honestly, what I know of her just listening to the show, and of course, people only show you parts and pieces of
sure,
themselves that they want. People want to maintain
sure.
their privacy, all that stuff. But I don't think this is any kind of like envy of wanting to be in a relationship or married or have kids. I
Well,
j-
maybe
it
go ahead.
sounds like it's disappointment, but it's
Mhm.
just to a level where it's like,
Nasty.
yeah, and this whole parasocial, you know, and they've talked about this on the show, how fans, have these unnatural um connections with people that they don't even know, who they're just fans of. And I'm
Mhm,
just thinking about back to those conversations that they've had, and framing it in the context of her, talking about Cardi B, and it
didn't sit right.
it didn't sit right. And like I said, when she was talking, I was like clutching my chest the whole time, like looking around, even though I was at home listening to it by myself. Like, I was like, this is a lot. I was
Mhm.
like,
So
this is
maybe
strange and out of the norm
mhm,
from what I've heard from them on their show. And
s
the fact that she doubled down
mhm,
on it and was like, "Hi guys. I heard that you guys were, on the internet, it's like arguing or whatever. I said what I said," that type of thing. And
mhm.
it was like I haven't listened to the episode following. So that would be last Wednesday's episode. I haven't listened to it yet. So I don't know if she addresses on the show. Probably, like I said, I haven't heard it, so I don't know. But based on the comments and the videos, because I think it was like a quick little video that she did, with the "Hi guys," that kind of thing. And I don't know if she is still, um, sticking with that, or if she has any comments on it. I would honestly, I wouldn't be surprised, because she did go to like graduate school for like counseling and therapy or that kind of thing. And people were like, "You're saying this? How could a therapist say this?" And she was like, "Hey guys, I'm not actually a therapist. I did go to school for counseling, but I'm not, telling anybody or giving them like any therapy advice." Or, I mean, very kind of like nice, nasty
Mhm.
to it,
S
and
so
doubling down.
maybe so maybe it maybe so a lot of podcasters, run into this issue where they feel like they are not the same as these celebrities, right?
Mm.
So when podcasters come on shows like us, for example,
Mm.
and we're talking about people,
Mm.
right? We never we in general, not just us,
Mm.
we never consider the fact that people may view us as influential or maybe
Mhm.
even a celebrity, right?
Right.
So, more specifically with the read,
Which is insanely popular.
right, that's my point. They are, for a lot of people,
Celebrities.
celebrities, and for them to now or to continue, I could understand if they were just starting and they're
Mhm.
just grabbing from whatever the popular topic, people, whatever of the
Right.
day, and you use that because that's what everybody's talking about, that's what everybody's gonna listen to your show for. But
Mhm.
as you get bigger and bigger and bigger, now you are starting to become
Mhm.
one of those people.
Right.
And I always find it funny that when the podcasters who are almost shoulder level with some of the people they are talking about,
Mhm.
when those people snap back, or they when people, listeners, treat them the
The
same way
way
they treat certain celebrities,
Yeah,
I always find that interesting. And
yeah.
I think maybe this is one of those scenarios because, like you mentioned before, I've never listened to an episode, right? But
Mhm.
I am familiar because they
With that,
are right.
popular.
So I can imagine they um go off on these rants all the
Mhm.
time because, like you said, the whole point is to read to where they're, reading
And they
people,
have a
right?
segment at the end of the show called The Read,
Right.
where they read the person who they're annoyed with for the week.
Right. But you have to be careful because you are, like I mentioned, you in some cases, well, just for listeners, you are a celebrity.
Right.
And similar to how celebrities are, I mean, they break the rule all the time,
Yeah.
but if you're a celebrity, you really ain't supposed to be talking about another celebrity. Same thing with athletes. If you are a basketball player, you ain't really going out on as a player. Now, while you're
Right.
playing, now the
Yeah.
podcasters, once they retire, they become podcasters, and then here they running their mouths. But
Right.
I've always found it interesting that people who are celebrities running podcasts talking about other celebrities like they themselves aren't a celebrity. That's when you run into issues. And I
Yeah.
akin this to that, to where they are celebrities talking about celebrities, and people are like, hold on, wait a minute.
We know this was the premise of your show when you first started, but you've gotten big too. And I get they aren't in the same arena and they aren't as famous as a Cardi B or Beyonce or Rihanna or any of these people. But they do have influence. And as we close this out, I'll follow up to say, I don't know if you've been seeing on social media, Nicki Minaj and Cardi B have been going back and forth for the last 2 days. And it's gotten so bad
Mhm,
to the point now where Nicki Minaj has started talking about her children, calling them monkeys, calling them a roach, calling them ugly, calling Cardi's oldest daughter out by name and
mhm.
saying she's gonna, kick her gums in or something. I mean, really,
Nasty.
really nasty that an adult would come after a child and an
Mhm,
unborn child because she's talked about all of the children, but she specifically targeted the oldest, which is Coltrane. I think she may be like 5 or 6, and of course the youngest baby who is still baking or whatever. But I know this isn't directly related to it, but it just makes me think Cardi B and Nicki Minaj have always had a thing, but it's just kind of this whole Crystal thing was on Twitter, on social media heavy, and it feels like, to me, it's just one of those things as a natural progression where someone like a Nicki Minaj, who already has a problem with
mhm.
Cardi B,
I'm gonna
will
chime
come
in.
in and chime in, and then and then the stands are in it, going
Mhm.
back and forth. And through all this, I'd really hope that Cardi would take the high road and not
Well, that
engage in
just don't
this.
even
But
sound like her at all.
it and also you're calling out and talking about her children. And my thing is, I don't know many parents
Right.
who aren't you talking about causing physical harm to
Mhm.
my child, wishing harm on an unborn child, calling them names and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. I can't see, most people not at least saying something. Of course, it's escalated because of who they are, but it's one of those things where it's this whole thing has gone too far, all because this woman released an album.
Well, unfortunately, celebrities, you are a celebrity, so
Yeah.
you can't turn off and
You
on.
can't opt out of this.
Yeah, so it's
Partially, you got to be in or you got to be out. And even when you're out, people are still going to talk.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because you ain't downplaying a celebrity when you want somebody to buy them tickets, to buy that
Right.
album, to buy
Right.
that clothing line,
Yeah.
to do all the things, right?
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, fortunately, celebrities are people too.
Yeah.
um People get on the internet and say salacious things about
Yeah.
each other, ipso facto, Cardi B and, Nicki Minaj, which the comments that you said Nicki Minaj made is not out of the realm of something that Nicki Minaj would say, so I'm not surprised by that. But I am,
I have to say, I'm surprised by it because she
mhm,
has a young child herself, and to outright say those things about
another
another
mother,
person's child.
another, yeah, another
Yeah.
child,
I mean, bringing the children in, period. Yeah.
right? But this is why I mind my business. All right, so that's enough of that. We're
Yeah.
gonna move into the hookup, and my tip for the week is you may not want to delete those spam emails, and there's no major trick that I have, but
Mhm.
instead of deleting them, move them to the default junk or spam folder, depending on what service you're using. If you're using Microsoft, they may call it spam. If you're using
Mhm.
Google, and they may call it junk. If you're using Mail, Apple Mail, they may call it something else.
Yep.
Whatever the default folders is for junk and or spam, instead of deleting those spam emails, those phishing emails, those emails that you think are a little sus,
Mhm.
instead of deleting them, move them to the junk or spam folders, because doing that ensures that less rubbish will be in your mailbox in the long term, because a lot of these services can detect
Mhm.
when you have moved something to the spam folder, and they automatically assume that, oh, since Terrance moved that to the spam folder, any other messages coming from that sender, he may want those in the spam folder as well, and will
Mhm.
automatically or eventually learn your email habits and start to do that for themselves.
Yep.
If you just delete it, they're not going to do that, because these services are not going to delete your emails, because
Right.
you don't want those
You don't
problems.
want them to have that kind of control.
Right. But what they will do is they will move them, they will learn your habits
Yeah.
and start to move some of those emails to those folders. And then the senders of those messages are also blacklisted more quickly, because if I'm moving them to the spam folder and Nica's moving them to the spam folder and everybody else is moving to the spam folder,
They're
these
like, "Hey,
services will be like, oh, wait a minute, maybe we
this
need to
is spam."
yeah, yeah, this may be spam, right? So that's how they learn. So that is my tip for the week. Instead of deleting suspect emails, move them to the spam and junk folder, and help us all out. All right, so
Mm.
that is going to do it for the hookup, and that means that's going to do it for this week's show. Nika, tell the folks where they can find you.
You can find me at Tech Savvy Diva everywhere.
And you can find me all over the internet at Brother Tech. That's BrothaTech, to find out more about the show, to comment, to connect, to find all of our handles on social media. Please go to snoboscast.com. You can get all the details there, including listening to the podcast live. We greatly appreciate it. Until next week, we are out. Peace.
Bye, everybody.